visit family, so you know how that goes.
And it makes sense that we have a reunion game of sorts tonight between Gordon Hayward and the Utah Jazz. The Jazz and the Celtics, again, they tip off just after 7:30. These two teams met a week ago in Gordon Hayward's first game back in Utah since leaving for Boston. More on that in a few minutes. Both of these two teams are playing the second night of a back-to-back. What impressed you most about Kyrie Irving's 43 points and 11 assists?
It looks like he got his feel back, and talk about his rhythm and being in a good place. You see him warming up prior to the game now with the left hand, but he was just clicking on all cylinders, and that's Uncle Drew right there. I have to say it's officially Uncle Drew's show. He's back.
What impressed me was seeing Kyrie get in and out of his cuts, the ability to stop and go, make all his shots, and he has the confidence back. Early in the season, he was making the moves, but he didn't look like the same Kyrie. It was kind of a similar situation to when he hurt his kneecap in Cleveland. It took him 15 to 20 games to get back to being the old Kyrie. We're seeing the same situation in Boston, but now he's officially back.
It was also a reminder of how great Larry Bird was. I mean, he did it 6 times donning that Celtics jersey, and Kyrie Irving with the 40 and over 10 assists for the first time in Boston. Let's listen to Kyrie and Brad Stevens following that Celtics win.
Is it a difficult choice as a coach that when you see a player getting hot, you see something developing, kind of abandon whatever game plan you had and just focus on that?
No, that's like I do everything I can to stay out of his way. He's such an intelligent basketball mind, so I give him his space, and then as well as who I am as a player and what I can do out there on the floor to create and generate offense and defense. He gives me my space as well, so I just think that's just a mutual respect there. So if he sees something, I'm going with it, and if I see something, he's going with it as well as the rest of the team. So it's just been an ongoing, growing relationship, which I'm appreciative for the next few years to come.
So you hear Kyrie addressing some of the injury issues this team had. Of course, Gordon Hayward out last season and Kyrie out during that playoff run, and Jason Tatum had to step up. He also played well last night, 8 from 13 from the field. Seeing them both play well, is this a good sign for the Celtics going forward?
It's a great sign that the Celtics were able to get Kyrie and Jason playing well at the same time and get the win. Because if you watch this team, they haven't looked like a cohesive unit. Defensively, they've been there every night. But offensively, it's been a lot of my turn, your turn basketball, everybody trying to get on the same page, figure out their roles. And so it was good for me to see Boston's two best players get it going on the same night, and they get a win against arguably the best team in the Eastern Conference right now.
These are their two high-usage basketball players. And obviously, Horford's going to be the glue guy. He's going to facilitate, put them in position. And Gordon Hayward is going to be extremely important and valuable to this ball club. Now that he's getting his legs up under him and finding his rhythm and finding his health, which is most important, this team is a scary team in the future to watch.
I'm glad you mentioned Gordon Hayward and playing the season-high 39 minutes for the Celtics against Toronto. Also, a team-high. Brad Stevens actually addressed that this afternoon.
What Phoenix, Utah back-to-back, and that was the last 25-minute game. Now, he's going to have games where he plays 25 again, but at the end of the day, not restricted, which is good. I mean, it shows that the whole idea of a minutes restriction is to get yourself back to the point where you physically can handle the demands of this season and do so without taking steps back. And so this is the encouraging part, is it was really handled well by our training staff and by him, as frustrating as it may have been for him.
So Brad Stevens saying there is no minutes restriction for Gordon Hayward, going to play as many minutes as possible on this second night of a back-to-back. What does this tell you about his development coming back from his injury?
Well, it's important that, he took his time, and it is a process. It's different layers of being healthy. It's playing at the family barbecue healthy. It's being able to compete against world-class athletes healthy, which he's there now. And now I think the next phase and step for him is to get his basketball rhythm, which he's finding.
Yeah, everybody can hoop at the family barbecue. Everybody thinks they can hoop there. But for Gordon Hayward, I think this tells me that he's officially healthy. They trust that he's back. He trusts that he's back. And now it just has to be getting over the mental hurdles of not thinking before you plant or cut, just going out there doing things instinctually that you no longer do that. I had a foot injury, and it took me to about February to get back from my foot injury. Oh, I was back on the court, but mentally, I wasn't back. I didn't feel like myself. I couldn't move without thinking until February, and I think we're going to see Gordon Hayward, as the season goes along, get more and more confident in his foot and more confident in his role, more importantly.
Well, earlier you mentioned Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving being this team's two best players. You also heard Brad Stevens say, okay, there's going to be nights where Hayward only plays 25 minutes.
Right.
Is that going to be a tough adjustment, you think, for him to go from one night he's playing 39, another night he's playing maybe 25?
I think the biggest adjustment for him is going to be finding his role, finding his rhythm on a team that has multiple stars. Because when you're used to getting the ball all the time, like he was in Utah, and getting as many touches as you want, it's a different experience when you have to figure out how to be more efficient, how to understand when it's your time, when it's not your time, to get the ball and when not to get the ball. You went through that in Dallas. When you came to Dallas, in D.C., you were the closer for us. You were the man. In Dallas, there's a lot more people out there. You had to do things a little bit differently. How did you handle it, and what was your adjustment?
Man, I think it was extremely tough, but, playing alongside selfless players and individuals and, guys that welcome you to the fold of things. And I think you see that in Boston as well, where guys are not expecting him or demanding too much from him. And you see the growth of Jason Tatum. You see the growth of, all the other guys around him and Brown and all of them. He understands that, look, I have to come in there. I have to just fit in and fit in well, and I think he's doing that.
Certainly when you look at what the Celtics need right now, playing well at home, you see them winning their last 4 games at home, 1-4 on that West Coast road trip. Hey, when they win big, it seems like. Utah Jazz last 3 games headed in the wrong direction. Actually, Utah has lost 6 of their last 9, while Boston, again, getting back to their winning ways now that they're